Let's see how FSD handles these cones. Hey guys, we have a very simple drive today in Syracuse, New York. We just did some shopping for carpets and now we'll be driving to the hospital to visit a relative. Let's dive in. I'm going to tap the blue button on my screen to get FSD started. We're currently in the parking lot and FSD needs to go in reverse to get out of here. As you can see on my display, it's able to reverse without hitting the wall next to me, and it's able to quickly find a way out to the main street. We need to make a left turn onto the main street here, but we have a ton of cars on both the left and right hand side. If you take a look at the FSD visualization on my display, there are a ton of cars blazing by, so this is quite the challenge. FSD sees an opening and makes a left turn and navigates into the middle turn lane. Then it waits for the cars on the right to pass and proceeds to move to the right lane. Very impressive. We'll be driving straight for a while, so I'm going to cover some Tesla news. Tesla released their Q4 earnings results this week, and as expected, it wasn't great. In terms of why, they mentioned that they were busy ramping up the production of the new Model Y, and they were also preparing their factories for the launch of new models later this year. Despite this negative news, the stock has been going up this week, and Elon Musk had a few positive things to say during the earnings call. First of all, he remains confident that Tesla is on track for a pilot launch for Robotaxi in June in Austin. He also said that Tesla will be operating 10 to 20 robotaxis initially in Austin. This may sound like a small number to most people, but if you're familiar with product development, you want to start with a small number first, just in case problems occur. If there are no problems, Tesla can release more cars into the fleet. He also mentioned that the robotaxis will be Model Ys and not Cybercabs for the initial launch. That makes sense since Model Ys are already being produced today. The next big news he mentioned is that he'll be significantly dropping the amount of time he's spending with Doge. He has a reliable team that can do the work for him, and he has finished most of the work that needed to be done. It also sounds like he's open to continuing his advisory role for the president, but on a less frequent basis. This is very good news for Tesla investors since Elon can go back to focusing on his companies. With the Robotaxi launch coming in June, the Tesla team really needs his input. He also spoke about Unsupervised FSD for personally owned Teslas. It'll be available by the end of 2025 in certain cities. Elon tends to be overly optimistic when it comes to timelines, so take this with a grain of salt. It's also interesting that he said certain cities. This implies that unsupervised FSD won't work outside of certain areas in the short term. I could see Tesla slowly rolling out unsupervised FSD in phases to more cities in the future. This is just a safe way of rolling out unsupervised FSD to the public. Changing topics for a bit, we have a lot of cones lined up on the left and right hand side. What's great is that FSD is able to see these cones and not run into any of them. Elon also spoke about the more affordable models. Fans were excited for a completely new design, but it sounded like Tesla plans on making a stripped-down version of one of their existing cars. They did this before with the long-range Cybertruck and also Model 3s in Mexico. This is disappointing to hear, but it does make sense from a production perspective. They can just tweak their existing production lines to achieve these more affordable models. I'm just wondering how low can the prices of these models be? Is it possible to make a $30,000 Model Y just by stripping out parts? I think we'll know the answer soon. For robotaxis, he also touched upon having different parameters for different regions and localities like snowy areas. I'm pretty interested in this because you need to rely on different driving styles for certain locations and scenarios. When it's snowing, you might want to drive more cautiously. When you're in New York City, you might need to drive more aggressively. I definitely have issues in New Jersey where the car isn't being assertive enough, and I've had numerous cars cut in front of me because FSD wasn't being aggressive enough. Anyways, we just got to the hospital. It was a fairly simple drive, but we got to cover a lot of Tesla news today. There are a ton of other things that we couldn't cover in this video, like the production of Optimus, but I recommend listening to the earnings call if you haven't yet. What was your favorite piece of news this week? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.